It started with Harry, then we did Louis, then we did Zayn, Liam, and finally Niall. We need a reunion.
Hi!
Hello, I'm Harry.
Hi, I'm Niall Horan.
So I'm originally from north of England.
I love London.
I'm actually just having a good time.
This one might not be for me.
Me and Pete, just hanging out.
Today I'm going to break down the accents of all 5 of the One Direction lads and compare and contrast their accents. I've identified 4 main pronunciation features which I've put into this very scientific table just here. I've also left a column for any unique sounds that we hear along the way. Now let's quickly remind ourselves of where they are all from. We've got Harry, who's from Cheshire. Louis and Zayn are from Yorkshire. Liam is from the West Midlands. And Niall is from the Republic of Ireland. So we can expect to hear plenty of variation in their accents. So if you're ready, let's do this. I just want to take a quick moment to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. They are an online learning platform with a great offer for you guys that I'm going to tell you more about later on in this video. Let's start with the trap bath split, the A and R sounds. In the south of England, we expect to hear both sounds, but in the north of England, we can expect to hear just the A sound, like laugh, bath, and fast. Let's start with Harry, see which one he uses.
Hello, I'm Harry. This is fan mail. I'm going to be answering your questions. When I wrote it, it was kind of always going to be the last song on the album.
Okay, so we've got answering and last. So he uses that ah sound, which, as I said before, is typical of the north of England. This pattern should follow with fellow northerners Zayn and Louis. Let's find out.
She liked it, and I just asked her if she wanted to be on it. She was like, yeah.
So I'm originally from north of England, Yorkshire, Doncaster.
So we've got Doncaster and asked, so they do follow the same pattern. Now how about Liam? He's from a bit further south in the West Midlands. What sounds should we expect?
The last text message I sent was, hello, come here you. You're a little rascal. You're going to be the rascal of the group and you also want to join in.
Ah, okay, so he said last, but he also said rascal, that R sound. So he is using both sounds, the A and the R sound. And that's because the West Midlands has influences from both the north and the south. And we might expect to hear both sounds, but it would depend on the individual speaker. Maybe they always say the A, or sometimes they say the R. It totally depends on them. Now how about Niall? What sound does he use?
Last one. Last question.
Okay, he also says A, so last there. All right, so we've got the A sound for all the boys except Liam, who uses both the A and the R sounds. All right, our next sound is the A versus sounds. This is the put split. In the south of England, both sounds are used, whereas in the north of England, we would expect to only hear the sound. Let's find out.
Are you going to open your upcoming tour with From Jet?
I called her up, and she'd heard the song already.
What you up to? What you been up to? Oh, a no. So I know that means anything or nothing.
I would like our music video to be right here with these puppies because this is just too much fun right now.
I love London, so I'm not complaining.
Okay, so we had Harry saying upcoming, so the sound. Louis as well with nothing. Zayn also up. Liam had puppies and fun. And Niall had love and London. So the sound is consistent throughout the One Direction boys' accent. So they are all the same in that respect. So for those words, I would say up and puppy and fun and London, because I'm from London. But because they're from different parts of the UK and Ireland, they're using a different sound, that sound. Okay, let's move on to the glottal T sound, which is when we stop the airflow in our vocal folds before releasing it. So it'd be like water, water. Let's see who uses a glottal T and who doesn't.
Wrote it very early on in the process.
I think my girlfriend did though.
Okay.
Yeah, G shouted her out. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You've been watching me get educated on Yorkshire slang.
You're the naughty one of the bunch. Come here.
How did you come up with the title of Heartbreak Weather? I started like writing like things down, like titles, concepts.
Okay, they all use it. So we've got wrote it with Harry, wrote it, educated, educated from Louis. Zayn said shouted her out. Okay, shouted her out. So he's dropping the T on both words there. Liam said naughty, naughty. And Niall said title, title. And rating, rating. So dropping the T there as well. So glottal T's across the board. And this is because it's definitely a feature of younger speakers of English, that dropping of the T. And it can be across accents. So for example, in a Cockney accent or a Mancunian accent, you would also expect to hear the glottal T. Our fourth feature is the H sound. I want to know who drops their H's.
Hello, I'm Harry.
Okay, Harry has his H's present and correct. So hello and Harry. How about Louis?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, Not heard it before, but fair dude. And that just means, yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Ah, okay, so Louis drops his H's. Erd and appy. All right, interesting. How about Zayn?
I called her up and she'd heard the song already, but she smashed it, so I didn't have to have that discussion with her.
Okay, Zayn as well. Erd again and av to av. Av to av. Right, so dropping those H's. So we can say that the Yorkshire boys are definitely dropping their H's. What about Liam and Niall?
Me and Pete, just hanging out.
Hi, I'm Niall Horan and I'm here with British GQ and this is me versus the universe.
Okay, interesting. So Liam uses the H sound there. So hanging out, hanging out. And also Niall as well. So hi, Horan and here. So both have H's present. So you see that there is a variety across the different accents. H's are also dropped in accents like Cockney, Mancunian, but they are retained in other accents. So in received pronunciation and multicultural London English as well. Guys, I have a very special offer for you from today's video sponsor, Skillshare. They are an online learning platform for creatives. Now, I've been working with Skillshare since 2017 and I'm a member of their platform. They offer thousands of classes for creatives and curious minds, just like you and me. I've done lots of courses with them and I've learned so much. You might recall I learned how to create a successful Instagram brand, and last month I learned how to use a knife like a pro. They have classes in photography, cooking, animation, design, whatever your heart desires. This month I did plants at home, uplift your spirit and your space with the plant queen, Christopher Griffin. It's spring and I decided to bring a little life and colour to my home. Now I don't know about you, but whenever I've had plants, I've always managed to kill them somehow through neglect or incompetence. Well, this is about to change because I've learned so much from this course. Here are 3 things that I learnt. You need to assess your home for sunlight and humidity, and then you choose the right plants to suit that space. The second thing is that there are 3 easy to care for plants for beginners. There's the snake plant, the ZZ plant, and the golden pathos. And finally, you need to learn to listen to your plants. That means looking at the leaves, checking the soil, and understanding what your plant needs. Now, Christopher is a fun teacher who calls his plants his green girls or his queens. He's very entertaining and informative, and the whole course looks really great. Now, Skillshare are offering the first 1,000 Eat Sleep Dreamers a free trial of their premium membership if you sign up using the link below. You'll get access to all of their courses. So hit that link, sign up, and let me know how it goes. And let's take your creativity to the next level. All right, so now I want to see if we can find one pronunciation feature for each of the boys that's unique to the rest of them. Let's start with Harry.
Hi Harry, which songs from the album are you going to open your upcoming tour with? I don't know that there will be another hand. She is one of the most talented people.
Okay, this is an interesting one. The diphthong of O on open, don't, no, most. His articulation is a little bit unusual for his accent. We broadly say that he has a Cheshire accent. It has the influences from America as well, as we've looked at in the Harry Styles video that I did. But there's definitely a sense here that the articulation is perhaps influenced by what, to me, it sounds a little bit like an Irish accent. So that word most, to me, that has inflections of an Irish influence. I would usually expect his jaw to come down a bit more, to be kind of like most. That's how I would say it, most, or no, or open. It's a bit more closed, so it's like most, not most. So the mouth is a bit more restricted and the jaw doesn't go down as much as you might expect. So most, not most. Now I remember I did the Harry Styles video and I talked about how he might have Irish influences in his accent and I couldn't quite understand why. And a lot of you guys told me that, well, he spent a lot of time with Niall Horan, so of course he has influences of an Irish accent. And I'm not quite sure as to why Harry does sound like that. I don't think it's because he spent so much time with Niall, because then why wouldn't he be speaking like Louis or like Zayn or like Liam? Now I can't quite put my finger on why exactly he has this influence of an Irish accent in his accent. Maybe it's just a combination of influences from around him. It's not necessarily just an Irish accent. It could be living in America. It could be having Australian friends. I don't know what it is. But it's interesting. And it's something that the other boys certainly don't do. All right, the next one is Louis. And Louis uses a V sound when in received pronunciation you might expect a the sound.
Northerners probably are better than Southerners. Southerners are great people, but it's hard to beat the Northerner.
So he says Southerner, with that V sound. When, well, I would say Southerner, that the sound. So V instead of the. He also says Northerner, V, Northerner. As I would say, Northerner. So the V for the. Now this is what we call TH fronting. It's very common in some Yorkshire accents, in Mancunian, in Cockney. It definitely isn't just a pronunciation feature of Doncaster and Louis. It's a much broader thing. But yeah, very interesting. And the other boys, I didn't find them doing it. They would use that the sound, that voiced TH, the sound.
And she'd heard the song already?
Okay, a feature that Zayn has is the short I on the Y at the end of words. So already, ready, like that, not ready. Now that's how I would say it, ready, but ready.
And she'd heard the song already?
He might say like charity, that shorter I sound at the end of a word that ends in a Y. So yeah, already, city, things like that.
I haven't been to the cinema in ages and I like going to the cinema.
Okay, Liam here has a little pronunciation feature. He uses the schwa sound at the end of the word cinema. So it's cinema. Whereas I would say cinema with an R sound. He says cinema. And again, that's a pronunciation feature that I've heard in lots of different accents. It's one that I didn't hear with any of the other One Direction guys, but it's possible that they might also say it.
The minute I had that rather than just a normal Heartbreak album.
And our final sound is Niall doing the D sound on the voiced TH, the. So remember, we talked about Louis using a V sound. Well, Niall uses a D sound, and this is typical of many Irish speakers. So he says, rather than, right? Rather than. So instead of the rather than that I would say in my accent, he says rather than. That's a very common feature in Ireland. It's also in some British English accents, certainly in multicultural London English, you might get a D sound on this voiced TH, but generally speaking, it would be a V or the voiced the sound. Now guys, if you'd like to learn more about British English, I have a book called A Really British Guide to English. You can get it by clicking the link in the description below and getting your very own copy. It's available on paperback and ebook. And of course guys, remember that amazing offer from Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up get a free trial of their premium membership. Hit that link below and take your creativity to the next level, guys. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This is Tom, the Chief Dreamer, saying goodbye.